Welcome to Malpractice Podcast.
Hello, are you ready to get started?
Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. What up, girl?
Yes, I'm Jess.
I'm Sydney.
And this
is Malpractice.
This is us. This is real. That's all I can sing of it before
This
I don't
is
want to
where
get
two
sued.
friends catch up. People love when you sing. Someone just commented on our Twitter.
Listen, person, you have made my life. My life is complete.
A stranger on the internet.
Because I love to sing. I wish my life was a musical.
It basically is.
Oh, I want it.
But you're a choir theater kid. That's your life.
I want it. I want it.
Self-proclaimed theater kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I don't know if you heard that, but my shoe, I'm wearing house shoes. They just made a farting noise.
I didn't hear that, but that's hilarious. My shoes do that all the time. I'm like, I hope Cindy doesn't hear and think that I'm just like big farting in here. I'm like, whatever, but that happens to me all the time.
Listen, this is a Sunday afternoon recording. I had to double check that it was Sunday right now.
Yeah.
This is a Sunday afternoon recording, so it might be a little loosey-goosey.
Honestly, listen, I just had P-Terry's.
That's a good Sunday vibe.
It's the shit, man.
Dude, you know what I had? I had a grilled cheese sandwich, and my mom and I homemade tomato soup yesterday.
Of course you did.
Mwah. Chef's kiss.
You little chefies.
I love a grilled cheese sandwich so much.
I do too, and I never have it.
It's like the taste of my childhood. You know how I do it? I do mozzarella and basil pesto on the bread.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds like I will be sick.
Yeah, you can't eat cheese with like a tomato in there.
I will eat a full tomato like an apple. I love tomatoes.
Oh, same. Especially in the summer when they're like all fresh and juicy. Absolutely.
Tomatoes and cucumbers. Cut them up.
That's all I do. Tomatoes and cukes.
I love that.
Love them.
So your mom was there this weekend with you?
She was. Yeah, we went to brunch twice.
Of course.
You know how
2 days.
she is. That's her vibe. Brunch is my mom's vibe.
Yeah.
My mom is the embodiment of brunch.
Yeah.
As a person.
She is. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes, what?
Sydney, I forgot to tell you
tell
this.
Me.
So, oh my God. So, I don't know if actually this is going to be as big of an oh my God for you as it is for me. But
it sounds exciting.
My bestie at work, Craig, I talk about him.
No, Craig.
He and his wife went to the beach for like vacation, and she searches for shark teeth.
What?
Did I tell you this already?
Can I search for shark teeth? Are they hard to find?
I knew you'd be into it. Okay, so I told him, I said, oh my God, my best friend
She's obsessed
swims
with sharks. Yeah.
Like, she loves sharks. Like, guess how many shark teeth she found on the beach? Fucking guess.
37.
More.
Like a lot more?
Yes.
500?
No. That's a lot more.
That's so many more.
Oh, over 120 shark teeth.
That's insane. How big are they?
There's tiny baby ones.
Oh.
And then bigger ones, like a quarter.
That's amazing.
He says she has like killer instincts about shark teeth hunting.
Oh my God.
She's in like shark teeth hunting groups on Facebook.
Can I be in a shark teeth hunting group?
I swear to God, I was like, Craig, you have no idea the information you have just given me for Sydney, that you also do not know her, but she simply has to be there.
Your work bestie is my new...
It's his wife.
Shark bestie. Okay.
But
this is like a 2 orders of removal shark bestie, but that's my new friend.
I said Sydney would be so...
I didn't know that shark tooth hunting was a thing, and now I never want to do anything else.
Oh, it's huge. I'm like, oh, Sydney is going to stalk you 10,000%.
I want to know his wife's name off air, number 1.
Yeah.
And number 2, can we make a connection? Can I be her friend?
Yeah.
Can we be in the same shark tooth hunting group? Yes or no?
So he was saying that she, like, people were watching her because she has, like, equipment.
She has equipment?
To, like, find shark teeth.
That's my dream.
Yes, I know. And you love equipment.
That's my nerd dream.
So people are coming up to her, and she was teaching them how to find shark teeth and stuff. And then the following day, they would come up and show her what they had found.
And they found some?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can she teach me?
Yeah.
Okay, these are all questions for later, but I'm very jazzed about
I know.
this.
Okay, I'm glad it was really an oh my God thing, because I was like, as soon as I said my first oh my God, I had to think like, do I need to dial this back? Like, is this...
No, you don't.
Okay.
That was an appropriate level of hype.
I was hype as fuck.
Deservedly so. You nailed the level.
That's good.
Also, have you seen Undercurrent, The Disappearance of Kim Wall on HBO Max or Hulu? Yes or no?
I haven't seen it, but I have it in my queue to watch.
I'm a little disappointed.
Currently, I'm watching Yellowstone with Michelle.
Well, yeah. Okay. My parents love that show.
Have you seen that?
No, they keep telling me I would love it.
God damn, this show. I know you want to talk about this other show, but there's so much death in this show.
Is there? Oh my God. Okay.
Yes.
And sexy stuff? Is it sexy times?
Wait, what?
Is it sexy times in Yellowstone?
Like there's death. Like dying.
Yeah, but there can be both, like Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, yeah,
like
no.
Boobies and also dying. Oh, okay.
It's like Succession vibes in Montana.
Okay. Because my parents say they love it.
They would. Sorry, spoiler alert.
I mean, I'll watch it tonight. Are you joking?
There's a lot of murder. There's a lot of family dynamics. And then there is a lot of cultural issues because they talk about and really give exposure to Native American reservation, the plight of the people there.
Oh.
There's a lot.
Okay. I mean, look, when you've made the sale, stop selling. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Oh, but that's what I'm watching right now. That's why.
That's a vibe. Yeah. Okay. I'll get into
it's
it.
Really
You're the fourth person who's told me that, whose judgment I actually trust.
I think Eric would like it
so
too.
I'll watch it.
I think Eric would like it.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah, he would like it. Okay, tell me about this other... Did you watch this other one?
Yes, and I'm a little disappointed because I did tell you about this 2 full days ago, but I'm going to let it go.
I'm telling you, I have been head down in Yellowstone.
Down a rabbit hole of Yellowstone?
I have to take a break sometimes and, do nothing because there's so much murder. I'm like, how many murders?
So many.
I also think it's crazy that they're not, solved murders.
Oh.
If this is really how Montana is, I will never go there.
First of all, can I tell you one story about Montana? One time we walked past a Montana license plate, which has, a bear on a mountain in the license plate.
That tracks with my exposure to Yellowstone.
And Eric goes, we should retire in Montana. I was like, we've never been to Montana. No. Why don't we try going there first before we make a plan 40 years ahead of now to retire?
Sydney, let me tell you, watch one episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You will be like, Eric, I never will go.
That's the absurdity of your friend Eric.
I like him.
He wants to retire somewhere based on a license plate.
No. Also, the bears.
Yeah.
So many bears.
I do not fuck with bears.
I know you don't.
Okay, Kim Wall.
Okay,
sorry. You have to know about this.
It's on my list.
Okay, good. She was a young investigative journalist.
Nice.
And she was a freelance journalist. So she had been in all these sketchy situations, and they made a point of she had been to all these really quote unquote unsafe countries and whatever. And then she goes back home to Denmark. She's Swedish. She goes back to Denmark where she lives with her boyfriend and basically gets murdered by this crazy Elon Musk dude.
I love the description that you just gave because I fucking hate Elon Musk.
No, you'll hate this guy even more somehow.
I'll start it tonight.
It's incredible. It's only 2 episodes.
Perfect.
I wish it was longer.
No, I like that because I think that's the amount of time we can take away from Yellowstone.
Fair. You'll like it. Freelance investigative journalists, especially women, are always in danger. And if they're freelance, they're not being protected by the New York Times or whoever they work for.
Right.
So they don't have the clout to walk in and be safe. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Or even a title, right? It's you're just
self-funding, and then maybe
Joe
somebody
Schmo
will pay you or not.
Out here.
Unless I'm getting that totally wrong. I don't know how it works, to be honest.
I don't know.
Anyway, you want to get into the story?
Wait, are you going to make the Elizabeth Holmes announcement?
Oh, yeah. There's only one more thing that we wanted to talk about, and that's that Elizabeth Holmes filed an appeal, which is apparently a thing a lot of white-collar criminals do, and the judge upheld the guilty verdict from January. So...
yeah. Still guilty.
Still guilty. That's good.
Also, just a moment for appeals. Always file an appeal.
You should.
Even if it's a long shot.
You should, for sure. Number one.
She is guilty, but
she's guilty, but you still should.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure procedures were met correctly and everything's chill with the...
Yeah.
your civil rights aren't being violated. Okay. Let's do this.
Okay, this week we are covering the Somerton Man. Sydney is hype as fuck about this.
I'm so excited about this case. So, if you don't know, if you're unfamiliar, the Somerton Man was an unidentified man whose body was found on December 1st, 1948, sitting on a beach at Somerton Park, which is a suburb of Adelaide, Australia. This story has been a staple in the true crime area for a very long time because it is/was such a fascinating mystery, and it baffled the Australian police for a really long time and people around the world for decades. This is from the 40s, so old crime.
Yeah.
I personally have been semi-obsessed with this case for around 3 years. Like, the first time I heard of it was 3 years ago. And it was recently, probably solved. So we have to talk about it, especially based on how it was solved. We'll get into it.
Mm-hmm.
You may also know it by the Persian nickname for this case, which is Tamam Shud, or Tamam Shud, literally translates to is over or is finished in Farsi. Also, shout out to Australia in general and Adelaide specifically, because y'all have some fascinating and truly fucked up murders.
Shout out to you for your fucked up murders.
I don't know if that's the right way of going about that.
A compliment you didn't know you needed.
They're probably like, screw you, buddy.
I mean, we're in the U.S.
We're in Texas, the capital
We
of the
get it.
world's fucked up murders. If anybody gets it, we do.
And fucked up people.
Correct.
Check out our governor.
Every other medical murder case we have, I feel like, is from Texas. What did you just say? I missed it.
I said, check out our governor. And then I was like, oh, is Sydney going to cut?
I'd probably leave that in. He's a wild animal. We're not friends.
No. But yeah, Australia, we get it.
Yeah.
You may be thinking, why is this relevant to Malpractice Podcast? First of all, everything we talk about is relevant, including shark's teeth.
Have we ever steered you wrong?
Yeah. Second of all, you're going to see
Yeah.
why. So listen. And no, we will not be taking any questions.
I love that you're bossing them around like from the get-go. Listen.
Sometimes
Pay attention.
just came out of me a little bit.
Yeah.
Somerton Man. On December 1st, 1948, bright and early at 6:30 in the morning. No. So the police are called because there's a body that's been found. Somerton Park is near Adelaide, South Australia, so that's, if you're curious about that, it's very close. So the man was found lying on his back with his head resting against the seawall on the beach. His legs were extended, his feet were crossed. So essentially, he's like looking very relaxed. He's looking like he's chilling.
Right.
Probably and was, we find out, seen by people just walking and said, oh, that man's taking a snooze.
Yeah, before they realized
He was not snoozing. Yeah.
anything was wrong. Right. So I did some digging and I actually found the original news article that reported the body being discovered.
Because we do research here.
We do research. Yeah, this is our book report. If it fits the vibe, we might post it on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
When they published this story, a few people had actually come forward to say that they had actually seen that man fitting the description, laying on that spot where this guy's body was discovered. So several witnesses actually probably stumbled across him when he was either already dead or in the process of dying, which is much more stressful to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just not moving, but possibly dying.
Right. And you didn't know that.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's sick. Yeah.
Because one couple say that they saw him around 7 p.m. the evening before November 30th. So one day before his body was discovered. And they said they saw him like extend his right arm out and then drop it to his side, which is weird.
Oh, yeah. But we learn from body farms that they do that sometimes.
I mean, dead bodies do that for sure. But what if he was still alive and like trying to get help or something and people were just like, ah.
Oh.
Because basically they saw him kind of drop his arm and they were like, oh, he's probably super drunk, and they just left him alone.
Right. I would.
So would I. I'm not going near some crazy drunk guy.
I'm not going near. Period.
I mean, right? Am I right?
No, yeah, you're right.
This is the 1940s.
Yeah, but I think they were probably like, that guy's drunk. Like,
right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. Would you go check on a drunk man?
I would call 911.
I might do that too. I'm trying to think of what I would do.
On 6th Street, I've called.
Because sometimes on
people.
6th Street in Austin, if you've never been there, it's a wild ride.
I'm not going to go.
No.
But I will call 911.
And you should not go.
For an ambulance. But I do not call for the police.
No, right. But if somebody looks like they need an ambulance, maybe it's different.
You call that. Yeah, yeah.
Also, in the 1940s, I don't know if they had like 911.
Oh my God.
I really think it was invented in like the 60s or 70s. Am I wrong?
One moment. Yeah, the 60s.
Isn't that wild?
How were people alive?
Who knows?
Before the 90s. I literally
I found
not
that
know.
out recently because I was listening to this podcast and someone goes, why didn't she call 911? And they were like, that wasn't a thing.
That's crazy.
Who knew?
That 911 is older than women had the right to have their own credit card in the U.S.
Ew. I hate that statistic.
That's a fact.
We just dropped a lot of facts.
Yeah.
This is Tangent City today, and we're dropping facts left and right. So, okay, we're back at 8 p.m. Another couple, we're just right back into it.
Literally, we've got 2 paragraphs into our notes, so we're doing great.
Correct. We only have like 10 pages. Okay.
Yeah, we have so much.
Just buckle in, people.
Yeah.
So we're back at 8 p.m. Another couple is walking by. They walk past him and come back by him 30 minutes later. And they said they thought his position had changed. And then they noted how it was odd that he wasn't bothered by the mosquitoes that were literally around his face.
Yeah.
Right.
See, mosquitoes were there.
And also, if mosquitoes were biting you on the face, no matter how drunk you are, I feel like you would be trying to get these mosquitoes off your face.
And if you were so drunk that you couldn't.
Correct.
Like, you need immediate medical care.
Whatever pre-911 was, do that.
Do that, yeah.
So basically, they just think he's like passed out drunk or asleep.
Yeah.
In a suit.
Right. People believe that he may have died while sleeping since he had an unlit cigarette resting on the right collar of his coat, just like laying there, like the crumbs do after I have a good meal. Like he was about to smoke it, essentially.
Yeah.
In his pockets.
And dropped it.
Yeah. They found an unused second-class rail ticket, a bus ticket from the city, an aluminum cone that was manufactured in the U.S., a half-empty packet of juicy fruit gum, and an Army Club cigarette pack with 7 cigarettes of a different brand, and a box of Bryant and May matches. Do you like juicy fruit? I fucking love juicy fruit.
Look, I'll eat a piece of juicy fruit. I'm just not a big gum chewer for some reason.
Oh my God, I forgot to tell you. I'm on my last tray of Invisalign.
Heyo.
So after that, I'm back on gum because I fucking love gum.
You do love gum, don't you?
I like mint gum, but
yeah.
Well, the first time I had juicy fruit, I was like, holy shit, because, my parents didn't let me have
sugar
fun or
yeah.
sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, juicy fruit's cool. I'm down with it. My dad used to be super into juicy fruit like in the 2000s. That was his jam.
And should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they found him, this man was dressed in a white shirt, red, white, and blue tie, brown pants, socks, a brown knitted pullover, and what they called a fashionable gray and brown double-breasted jacket that had like American tailoring, which there's some kind of stitch, apparently, that sewing machines in the U.S. could do that hadn't made it to Australia yet.
Got it. Okay.
So there was some special stitching that was only done in America, so the suit was made in America. So they're like, maybe this dude is American.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the whole juicy fruit thing, apparently, people don't chew juicy fruit in Australia. Like, it's specifically an American thing.
Well, you're missing out.
Who knew? I didn't know that. Okay. Also in the suit, all of the labels were removed. He had no hat, which was weird for the time period. And that being weird sounds weird to me because he had no hat. Who cares?
No, but it's like part of a look. You always had a hat.
It was their vibe at the time.
Couldn't be me because the only hat I like is a baseball hat.
You're literally, I was going to say you're wearing a hat.
I'm wearing one now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In his coat and pants, all the labels were removed. I said that. Beep, boop, bop. Okay. He was clean shaven. He had no ID or wallet of any kind, which is weird. Also, the 1940s were weird and formal. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
But when you think about the fact that he was dressed in like a wool sweater and a blazer, a double-breasted blazer on the beach.
That's weird.
And he sat there for an entire day before anybody thought to make sure he was okay. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because you're in a full suit with like shoes and a tie on. Anyway. A witness actually came forward in 1959, which, number one, why did you wait almost 10 years to say something? But that's none of my business.
Trash.
And said that he and 3 other people saw a man carrying another man on his shoulder along the park beach the night before the body was found. So that's odd.
Right.
Also, why didn't you report that the night of? And don't give me the excuse that 911 didn't exist.
You could report it to someone. Jesus Christ.
You could have reported it to someone. So this whole case is really odd, like, from the beginning. And then they started an investigation. They find this man's body. Investigation has started. Who is he? Why is he there? Oh, and what happened to him? Everybody wants to know.
Right. It's super weird. It's like when I was doing my research, I was like, this is the weirdest story. And then it just gets weirder.
Over and over. You think you've heard it, and then it's more.
So the pathologist, John Burton Cleland, thank you for having a simple name, my dude, wrote, because
you almost made me spit my drink out.
I saw that. He wrote a report in which he said the man was of British appearance, so white.
I was like, what does that mean?
He's a white guy.
Right.
And thought he was about 40 to 45 years old. Also, the white guy comment was not from John. It was from me just now.
Oh, yeah.
So
you were doing a
can't
quote.
attribute that to him.
End quote.
So he also wrote, like, look, he was about 5'11" tall. That's tall.
Yeah.
Like, as tall
it's
as
like
you.
roughly 6
Pretty
foot.
Tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty tall.
He had gray eyes, fair to ginger colored hair.
Same.
Oh my God. Is he related to you?
Is he my dad?
He was graying around the temple. Don't say that. Your dad's the best.
I know. None of that's part of the quote, by the way. Now we're back.
Now we're back, yeah. Slightly graying around the temples, broad shoulders, a narrow waist. That's a strange thing to say about anyone. I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm. He's fine.
Okay. Hands and nails that showed no signs of manual labor. I think they were like, rich guy.
Oh, fancy.
Big and little toes that met in a wedge shape, like those of a dancer or someone who wore boots with pointed toes.
Mm-hmm.
Pronounced high calf muscles that were consistent with people who regularly wore boots or shoes with high heels or performed ballet like a dancer. So that's what John wrote in his report, which is weird.
Can I just say,
there's a lot of weird shit in that report, in my opinion.
It sounds like John has a crush on him because he goes on to be like,
low key,
he's pretty fit, in top condition. I'm like, John, he's dead.
He is deceased. Yeah, let it go, John.
So in this autopsy, they determined that the time of death was around 2 a.m. on December 1st. And here were some more details from the autopsy. In addition to saying he was physically in, quote, top condition. That's your boy, John.
Yikes, John. Which is fine, John.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine.
Unless they're dead, and then it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We need to investigate John.
Love who you love unless they're dead, and then move on.
We need to investigate him, I think.
I feel. The heart was normal size and normal. This is a quote from the autopsy.
Welcome to our Whiplash episode.
So back in the autopsy, the heart was of normal size, normal in every way. Small vessels not commonly observed in the brain were easily discernible with congestion. There was congestion in the pharynx, and the gullet was covered with the whitening, blah, blah, blah. Stomach was deeply congested. There was congestion in the second half of the duodenum. So,
goddamn, the man was sick.
Number one.
How is he in top condition and also congestion in every single part of his body except his heart?
Which is it? Also,
Which one
stop
is it?
saying things are congested. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, facts.
The rest of this. Oh, there was blood in his stomach, which is weird. Both kidneys were congested. The liver had a lot of blood in it. And the spleen was like 3 times as big as it should have been. I'm just paraphrasing his quote because it's real long.
Do we even need spleens? Do people get their spleens removed?
Yes, you can get your spleen removed, but yeah.
What does a spleen do?
Spleen, I think, helps with storing, don't make me lie about this, like white blood cells and things that are involved in...
Oh, okay. So you do need it. Like, it's best to have it.
Yeah, it's best to have it, I think. Like white blood cells, platelets, it also filters your blood.
Okay.
So you should have it, probably. But you can live without it.
Okay, let's keep spleens.
Yeah, I mean, get rid of them if you don't need them, but we kind of do.
It's best to have. It's fine.
It's ideal, okay. I think. So his was huge, and they're like, why was his spleen huge? That's odd.
Mm-hmm.
The report also indicated that the man ate a pasty as his last meal, which I didn't even know what that was. I had to look up what a pasty is. It's like a hand pie.
Yeah. It sounds fucking good.
I love a hand pie.
It's like like a large empanada.
Dude, yeah, exactly like an empanada.
Which I also love. Shout out to empanadas.
Same. I had a peaches and cream empanada over brunch this weekend.
I will never say no to an empanada. Never in my life have I been like, that's an empanada.
Have you had a peach one?
I've had every fruit that I have been offered ever in life I've had, so I'm sure I've had one.
I had this Hispanic and Latino group on campus had pumpkin empanadas for sale.
fucking love
I bought
pumpkin.
5 of them. I
As
was like,
you
give
should.
me all of the pumpkin empanadas that you have left. And they did.
Yeah, give me
Thank
those.
you.
Wrap them up.
Okay, the pathologist said, I'm quite convinced that the death could not have been natural. The poison I suggested was a barbiturate or a soluble hypnotic, but they could never identify whether there was actually any poison used. Like, there was no trace of poison in his system. They couldn't determine that there was any foul play, but also, he's like 40. He didn't just die of natural causes, probably, is what this guy is saying.
Yeah.
I will say barbiturates apparently leave the system fairly quickly. So 24 to 48 hours is what I saw. So if he laid there for a full 24 hours in the process of dying, it could have left his system.
It would have been out of his system.
Maybe he was poisoned and they had just left his system.
Yeah.
Or one of the suspected drugs would have been used to treat a heart condition. And ultimately, his cause of death was ruled to be heart failure. So maybe that's worth noting. So...
But they said his heart looked fine.
Right. But apparently he had some kind of heart condition or died of heart failure at least. So if he had a heart condition, maybe he was using those drugs and overdosed on them. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
After Billy Kammermere, I'm like, they didn't do a good job in the autopsy. So I don't...
No.
They were just like, old age and your heart gave out.
You can't trust anyone.
That's the motto.
Do your own autopsy. That's my rule.
Do at least a second.
Hire somebody you know.
Yeah.
It sounds like he wasn't in great shape internally, is like the moral of the story. But they're like, he's in top physical condition, so which is it?
Yeah, John was like, he's hot.
He's hot.
And then he opened him up, he was like, oh, yikes.
He's hot, and also, does he drink a lot? What's wrong with his liver?
Is he diseased? Yeah.
Sir, are you okay? And then the last thing that I want to say is another odd piece of this puzzle is that his dental records were not matched to any known person ever and still have not been.
That's
like
weird.
his dental records are off the charts. They're unlisted, which is weird.
It's all very weird. It's about to get even more weird, so here we go.
Buckle up.
They took the train ticket from his pocket and they traced it back to the train station. The police here are great investigators, let me tell you.
Bingo.
They're like, we better go to the train station.
Crack police work.
They literally, in what I was reading, it was like they found a train ticket, so they went to the station. It's like, what else are you going to do? Like, play Monopoly?
Well, of course. Hopefully.
Then on January 14th of 1949, there's a brown suitcase discovered. The labels removed. It was checked into the station room around 11 a.m. on November 30th, 1948. They believed, the police, that Somerton Man, that body that was found, that's how we'll refer to him until we
name him,
reveal things, was the owner of the suitcase. So they're like, aha, a clue. In the suitcase, there's not that many clues.
No.
There was a red dressing gown, a size 7 pair of slippers.
Which that's like small, right?
I think, yeah.
He's tall for a pretty small foot. Unless
Small
Australian sizes are different. I could be wrong.
I don't know. 4 pairs of underwear, which sounds like me going away for one night.
Same.
PJs, a shaving kit, a brown pair of pants with sand in them.
Which is weird.
There's like sand in they had rolled the cuffs and there's sand.
That's so weird. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. An electrician screwdriver. Driver. Hello.
Hey.
We're reading. A table knife, a pair of scissors, and a bit of zinc, a brush, and a thread card of Barbour brand orange wax thread that's not available in the country.
Yeah. And that thread, I know we're giving like a lot of details, but the whole case is in the details here.
Yeah.
And that orange thread matched the thread that he had used to repair one of his pockets. So, like, they tied it to him, basically. Also, in the suitcase was more juicy fruit.
He loves it. I'm into it.
Which... This whole thing, they're like, he's American. He's got American thread. He's got juicy fruit. You're American.
Yeah, you like a lot of sugar, sir.
Sir, you have a problem.
In the suitcase, there were a couple of ID forms that they found, like names. And it was like T. Keen with by itself, and then Keen with no E on the end.
Mm-hmm.
But the police, remember, they're all doing their best work, thought that the person who had removed all the identifying markings actually left those.
Yeah.
Because they knew it wasn't this man's name, to try and like throw the police off the scent.
Throw somebody off.
But you know, they were top tier, these police. They're like, they're trying to trick us.
You're shitting on this police force so hard.
I imagine in my head, it's like cartoon, like Mickey Mouse, like meh, 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 walking over there, like checking something out. That's what I see.
Could be. I don't know.
Probably because I cannot imagine life in this time period. I don't know how any of these
911
people...
didn't exist. I can't be alive.
Yeah. So they were like, we don't think that was his name.
Yeah.
And then they also were like, let's double check because we don't want to be dumb. And then an investigation confirmed that no one by that name was missing. So they're like, aha. Then they checked incoming train records and thought that he had arrived from Melbourne, Sydney, or Port Augusta, which you didn't narrow that down, and those places are large. So anyway.
Yeah.
You did a bad job there. Moving on. They thought that maybe this is that's why I think these police, because this is where the bulk of my research was.
Fair.
Then they thought that maybe this is how the situation went down. So they went to the train station, they're like, found the bag, and they're like, okay, piecing things together, this is what the police thought.
Mm-hmm.
He had showered and shaved at the city baths. Were there bath tickets on him? No. They couldn't find a bath ticket.
Oh, okay.
Also, it wasn't I was like, what is a city bath? It's more like a swimming pool than a bath.
Oh.
So.
Okay. Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they think, okay, he got ready.
Mm-hmm.
He returned to the train station to buy a ticket for 10:50 a.m. to Henley Beach. He didn't make the train.
Right.
Then, after that, he checked in his suitcase. And he went to catch a bus to
You could say that
Glenelg?
however you wanted to. That
Glenelg?
Glenelg?
Sure.
I don't know.
So they had this idea,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're like, this is what we think happened.
You okay?
And the police are like, we're pretty sure. The coroner, Thomas Erskine Cleland. Is there another? Wait, is that the same Cleland? Wait, what the fuck?
John Burt Cleland. There's 2 Clelands.
Is that real?
Is that a really common Australian name?
Hold on, because I swear to God, I will write some. No, that's his name.
There's 2 Clelands.
2 Clelands.
That's so odd.
First of all, the more important thing is why didn't I notice this earlier? Anyway.
We read the script each like 10 times, and I didn't notice it either. So
Literally. Okay, so this coroner, Thomas Erskine Cleland, who may or may not be related to the other Cleland before in the story, was that the Cleland obsessed with the Somerton Man's body?
Yeah, that's John. It sounds like
it's even more suspicious to me now.
It feels like it goes all the way to the top to me now.
All the way. Okay, so thank you for riding that roller coaster with me. He started an inquest.
Yeah.
So Cleland re-examined the body and made a few additional discoveries. His shoes were clean,
Mm-hmm.
and recently polished. This made him think that maybe the man was brought to that area versus walking himself.
Yeah.
Like his shoes did not look like the shoes of someone who had been exploring or even like simply walking down the beach. He was like, they're too clean.
Right.
He also thought he was brought after whatever reaction he had experienced due to the possible poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was his thing.
Okay.
Cedric Staton Hicks is a professor of physiology and pharmacology at the University of Adelaide, said that there's a group of drugs, he called them number 1 and number 2, that were like extremely toxic in small doses orally, that could be difficult, if not impossible, to identify. So this Cleland was like, I think he was poisoned and then brought to this place.
Right. And then Hicks, that guy, apparently when he went to the autopsy, he was like, this is so scandalous, I don't even want to say it out loud to like influence the results. So he wrote it down.
Yeah.
Like during the autopsy, which is just kind of theatrical and weird.
We love it. We love that piece.
Same. It's just like stirring up some drama. I get it.
Yeah. I would too if I was in the room with 2 unrelated Clelands.
Are you joking? You're the outside man. You gotta
do something. Sprinkle some sauce.
Sprinkle some drama. Around the time of this investigation, they found that there was a tiny piece of paper rolled up in a pocket that was sewn up into his pants. So, spy secret shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, what happens when you wash your pants? That's just something I want to ask spies.
How it's like when you wash your pants, water comes down and takes the soap and the smelly goods.
Like if you had a little piece of paper in there, it would get.
But they didn't wash their pants as often. They didn't wash their clothes.
Back in the 40s, they had like 4 pairs of pants.
Not as often as we do.
The note said tamam shud, which we talked about at the beginning of this episode, and it means ended or finished or is finished in Farsi, which is the like Persian language. It was discovered actually by a local journalist that it was from a copy of a book called The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. I looked up how to say that. Are you proud of me?
Yeah, because
Right.
I do like the name Omar, though.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So this book is fairly rare, and it's by this guy named Edward Fitzgerald, written about a Persian poet from the 1200s.
I don't love that.
No, he took a bunch of this guy's poetry and put it in a book. I mean, he credited it to him, but basically he said, like...
Here's his poetry.
Of his poetry. Enjoy. Yeah.
Garbage, Edward.
The whole of Australia has something going on with this book. We're going to get into it. So...
Yeah, that's so true.
The page they found was the very last page of this book, basically where it says, like, the end. So pretty weird that was in his pocket, especially that it was in, like, a special sewn-in pouch in his pocket.
Hidden.
Weird.
Yeah. Secret pocket that says the end.
Spy shit. And that's what makes people think, basically, from the very beginning, that there's spy things going on.
Yes.
The theme of that book is basically about living your life to the fullest and having no regrets. Yes, Somerton Man, please get it. So, I'm just going to gloss over that and move on.
Okay.
So, then in the next year, 1949, some guy comes forward and says he had actually discovered the book nearby in the backseat of his car right around the time that guy's body was discovered, because this was an extremely...
In the backseat of his own car.
Yes.
And it wasn't his book.
It was not his book. Someone had ripped out the last page and then tossed it into this guy's open car window while he was parked, like, at the park.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I have questions. So, why are you leaving your windows down? Maybe he has something to do with it. Who knows? The book was basically dissected, and on the back there was discovered basically these long strings of letters that people have a bunch of theories about, but it looks like code and it doesn't really make sense. Like, one of them is ITTMTSAMSTGAB. Letters that wouldn't mean anything to anybody unless you knew a cipher or something.
Right. So, obviously, when you see a shit ton of letters together and you don't know what they mean, you call in code experts, which there are many.
That's what I would do.
You can find a code expert.
On any corner.
So the experts came together. They spent some time. They came out. They were like, this is nonsense code right here.
Right.
Like, none of this means anything.
Yes.
In the back of the book, also, they found an unlisted telephone number. So essentially, the police were like, code experts, you're not the expert of anything. Like, you're unhelpful.
You suck.
You suck, yeah. So then they saw this unlisted telephone number, and it ended up belonging to an Army nurse named Jessica Ellen Joe, is how she went, Thompson. So we'll call her, I think, Joe for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So she lived mostly street in Glenelg.
Correct us. We don't know how to say city names.
Please, if you know how to say it, message us directly.
DM us.
Which is about 400 meters from where the body was found.
So, like, blocks away.
Yeah.
Very close by.
So the cops are like, ma'am,
yeah,
because your number doing the back of this book. Knock, knock, knock.
Because this man was just murdered. Right.
So
maybe
Joe seemed to be very confused as to why this man had her number and had maybe wanted to visit her. She was like, I don't know this man. She also said that a man had tried to visit her and asked her next door neighbor about her, but she never made contact. However,
right
later, the author Jerry Feltus interviewed her for his book about this situation, and he was like, she seems super evasive, and he did not believe her, essentially, like, at all.
No one believes her ever, basically.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story.
You're not a good liar, Joe.
Yeah. Joe also told police that when she was working at the Royal North Shore Hospital during World War II, she had a copy of this book that she gave to an Army lieutenant named Alfred Boxall. So this book is like, I don't know, the Sisterhood of the Traveling Book.
It's like twice connected to her.
Yeah.
It's already sus to me that she gave that dude a book of poems, because you don't just do that, right?
People barely give people books anymore, so I don't know.
They were hooking up for sure.
Yeah, they were
I guarantee you that.
Yes.
They were absolutely hooking up. You would never... If someone gives you a book of poems, they like you. They like you. I'm sorry.
Okay, the only thing is maybe he was in... What was the purpose of him being in the hospital? Maybe she gave it to him, like, as part of a program.
You know what kind of program?
During the war. Well, I'm just saying, like, to give soldiers something to do.
Okay, so maybe there's that. But then also, she gave this other dude a book that has her number in it. Like, maybe, what I'm saying is, maybe that's her play. What if she sees a dude she's interested in?
Yeah.
She's like, what's up?
She never admitted to giving that man the book, though.
The second one.
She only admitted to giving Boxall the book.
Correct. Here's my question. if that is your move, you write your number in it and you hand somebody, like in a bar, a rare book of Persian poetry.
It's a top tier.
It's not bad.
It would get my attention.
Yeah. Same. Rare book of Persian poetry? Are you joking? That's way better than like, I bought you a drink.
Right.
But
essentially, she's like, I don't know who that is. I gave this one guy, Boxall, a book.
Yeah.
I don't know who this man is. She told police that she moved and got married after the war.
Mm-hmm.
Boxall had written her a letter afterwards, and she responded saying she was married. That was never confirmed, by the way. They could never prove that she sent the letter back.
Right.
So police thought Boxall must be the dead guy.
Has to be.
Woohoo, high fives.
Yeah.
But then they found him alive and well in Sydney in 1949, and he still had his copy of the book, so like, drat.
Yeah.
And I want to mention, too, like, Joe's own daughter in an interview in 2014 said she thought her mom did know the man.
Correct.
And she thought that she was lying.
Police thought they had a major breakthrough, but Jessica denied any knowledge of the man.
Did she lie to the police?
Yes, she did. She told the police that she didn't know who he was, and certainly I know nothing.
And yet she told you that she did.
And she told me that it was a mystery that was only known to a level higher than the police force.
She means what? That some spook somewhere would know.
Yeah. But she said it wasn't at a state police level.
That lie effectively stopped investigators in their tracks. The trail was dead. The case was cold. Till now.
Dun, dun, dun.
She 100% was lying.
I mean, she's definitely lying.
Yeah.
We'll give you more reason to agree with us.
Yeah, you're going to agree with us. Just believe us for now, okay?
Yes.
Jeez. Also, this is all happening during the Cold War, and if I remember anything from history class, can you confirm?
Yes. The Cold War roughly lasted from like 1947 to like the early 90s.
Yeah.
Although this story is focused on Australia, people may think the Cold War was just between the US and Soviet Union, and that is like, it's not true. The world was impacted by it. So
okay,
Australia had like political issues. They had their own space. They were part of the space race and things like that were involved in the Cold War. Australia was also involved in like 3 military conflicts overseas at this time. So it's not like they were bored.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of things happening that were impacting Australia as well.
That's so interesting. I just don't know a lot about Australia's history. That's so interesting.
Yeah, I do like Australia.
Yeah, it's dope. Also, apparently there were lots of Soviet spies and espionage activity there at this time. Like, everybody says that. So people start to speculate that Mr. Somerton Man is on his spy shit.
Yeah, I would too. I would think that too.
You have codes on you.
I would think that of anyone with a rolled up piece of paper in their pants.
Same.
Sewed into a secret pocket.
That's spy shit.
That's spy shit.
The codes, spy shit. You maybe know this like woman who was serving in the army as a nurse.
That's spy shit.
This is all spy shit. Anyway. Yeah, like maybe he was working in the field of army intelligence during World War II or the Cold War, because this is like the 49. This is right after World War II, and maybe that's why all of his labels are missing, which that's sketchy too.
Yeah, that is spy shit.
If you have no identification, no labels in your clothes, rolled up notes in your pants, that's shady. So then in 1949, Joe asked the police not to keep a record of her name or release her details to anyone.
Spoiler alert.
Right. But I found out that the police didn't. The police never actually released her stuff. It was her kids who came forward to say, like, nah, this was our mom and she was shady.
She was shady. She was on her spy shit.
Today, Kate remembers a mother who was loving but secretive. So secretive, she now believes her mother was a Soviet spy.
She certainly said once she was teaching English to newly arrived migrants, and at the time there'd been a small group coming from Russia into Australia, and as she said to me, oh, surprised that I could still quite understand Russian. So when did you learn Russian? Well, that's for me to know.
So her info was redacted at first, and they used nicknames for her or pseudonyms. And then when Joe was shown a facial cast, like a plaster mold of the dead man, she said she could not ID the person, but the cast maker who was watching her look at it said she visually looked, quote, completely taken aback to the point of giving the appearance that she was about to faint. And another person in the room at the time said after she looked at it, she looked away and would not look at it again. So you don't do that with some random man's face. You don't almost faint if you're seeing a stranger. Like, she's a nurse. She's a tough woman.
And it's not
Right.
It's not the body.
But even if it was the body, she's a nurse.
Right.
She was a nurse during the wartime. Like, she's seen some shit. Right?
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
It would take a lot, I feel, to shake her.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it was because she's involved.
Yeah.
For sure. She at least knew him.
She knew him.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. She also
Mm-hmm.
refused to speak of the incident ever again, which is super chill.
Thanks a lot.
Very cool, Joe.
By early February 1949, there had been 8 different quote-unquote positive IDs of the body.
Yeah.
Including 2 men who thought the body was a friend of theirs and others who thought it was a missing station worker, a worker on a steamship, or a Swedish tourist. So this same year, the still unidentified man was buried in Adelaide's West Terrace Cemetery with the service conducted by the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
Then, by November 1953, police announced that they just recently had received the 251st solution, quote unquote, to the identity of the body from members of the public who claimed to have met or known him. But they said that the only clue of value remained the clothing the man wore. So people were like, I know who this guy is. The police were like, who do you think? And then they were like, yeah.
No, you don't
who
know.
this is.
Shut up. But also,
Yeah, stop coming
they
here.
have a lot
Stop
of clues,
calling
it
us.
feels like.
They do have a lot of clues.
They're weird clues. I'll give you that. But they're like the only clue of value.
I feel like what they have is half of the puzzle, though.
Yeah.
And they're trying to see the big picture, and they can't.
Yes, I think you're right.
So, international circulation of a photograph of the man and details of his fingerprints yielded no positive ID.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. For example, in the U.S., the FBI was unable to match the dead man's fingerprint with prints taken from files of domestic criminals.
Yeah.
Scotland Yard, okay, fancy, was also asked to assist with the case, but could not offer any insights.
So let's talk about weird biology because the Somerton Man has some.
Yeah.
So in 2009, an investigative team from the University of Adelaide, led by Professor Derek Abbott, discovered that the original autopsy reports had actually gone missing. Super cool.
But this is the thing. We've talked about this before from people before they were computerized documents.
Yeah.
Like, shit goes missing.
They
and you're
just put it
like,
in a
"Well."
filing cabinet and they're like, I don't know where it is. Then Dr. Henneberg, professor of anatomy at the University of Adelaide, does a close examine of the pictures that were taken of the guy's head and neck, and she finds a few interesting pieces of this dude's physiology. So, looking at his ears, she found that the upper hollow, which is his Simba, which is right here,
Oh, thank you for doing that, because I was like, what is that? Okay.
that his Simba is larger than his cavum, which is basically like where you would go to clean with a Q-tip.
Okay.
Those are both cartilage indentations in your ear, so it's not super easy to describe on a podcast. I did just show Jess. That's our premium content.
Yeah. Thank God we don't have that.
No, you don't want to see a video of this. But the point is that this specific feature is shared by only 1 to 2% of Caucasian people, so it's fairly strange.
Huh.
And then Abbott and the team consulted with some dental experts who confirmed that he has hypodontia, which is a rare genetic disorder where you're basically missing some teeth.
Okay.
And so not all hypodontia is rare. Like, I actually never grew my top wisdom teeth.
I don't have any.
So that's hypodontia. Anybody that has that has this.
Oh, he's a special bitch.
It's so interesting, right? But this guy specifically is missing his lateral incisors.
Oh.
The canine tooth is right, the pointy one, is right next to his 2 front teeth.
Oh.
Your 4 front teeth.
He looked like
he's
a
missing the
vampire.
outside too, so he kind of has like vampire-y teeth. Yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
And so that would be present in only about 2% of the population. So the overlap between people who would have both of those like 1 to 2% chances is like very slim. That would be a very small percentage of the population that would have both of those.
And that's also crazy that he wasn't able to be identified by his dental records because of that.
Because it's so weird.
Yeah.
2% of the total global population having this and he has it, like you would think somebody would know who that was. So then Derek Abbott gets his hands on some pictures of Jessica Thompson's kids. That's Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Jo says she doesn't know this man, and she was actually married to another guy at the time named Prosper Thompson, which is a name that sounds like something from the Puritans. Am I right?
Yeah. Ew.
It's not great.
Mm-mm.
So she was married, so she, like, quote unquote, couldn't have known this guy, couldn't have given him a copy of that poetry book. They start looking at pictures of Jo's oldest son, Robin, starting in 2010 when they get these pictures, and they determined that he also had both the weird ear formation
No.
and hypodontia.
He is not your son. Prosper.
Right. Which, remember, these are both very rare genetic abnormalities, so the percent of the population that has both of them is very low. Also, at the time, geneticists estimated that the odds that these two people were not related were around 1 in 10 million to 1 in 20 million, based solely on those two genetic mutations. So, pretty low odds that they're not related. And then guess what? This guy, Robin, guess what he does for a living? He's a fucking ballet dancer. And they said that the Somerton Man had, like, ballet dancer calves.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he wore...
That's what that guy said, who's obsessed with
Yeah, he's like, sick calves, bro.
Yeah, literally.
That's the quote from the autopsy. So that information gets out to the public. The media begins to speculate that Robin, who actually died in 2009, had been the son of the Somerton Man, and that Jo had lied and passed him off as being the child of her husband, Prosper Thompson.
Yeah.
So the press is, like, spilling the tea everywhere.
Of course, I would too.
And I'm sure Jo is pissed. She's like, number one, I told you I'll keep my name out your mouth. And now everyone is talking shit.
And they are not.
No one is keeping.
They are talking shit.
Everyone is.
Yes.
And Abbott is like, okay, that sounds great. Why don't you just give us some DNA? And we'll settle this whole thing. And she was like, back off.
Call her bluff.
She said, no, thank you. No DNA for you. And then she basically died. That was the last thing she had to say about it.
I'm not dealing with this anymore. See you never.
Good day, mate. She's Australian.
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks. But in October 2011, Attorney General John Rao refused to exhume the Somerton Man's body, stating, quote, there needs to be public interest reasons that go well beyond public curiosity or broad scientific interest. Basically, if it doesn't solve a crime, we're not going to spend money on it.
Well, I kind of do agree with that.
I get it. It's a bummer way of being, but I get it.
Yeah.
So then Abbott goes to talk to Rachel, who is...
He is the scientist who will never quit. He's like, hold on.
This man is hooked. People said he was like a dog with a bone. Like, that's a direct quote from one of his colleagues. They're like, he does not play. So he goes to talk to Rachel, who is Robin's daughter, which would be Jo's granddaughter.
Okay.
Because this family is absolutely involved somehow, right? Like, everybody believes that.
Yeah.
So then in 2013, another one of Robin's daughters, Kate, was on an episode of 60 Minutes where she said her grandma definitely knew the Somerton Man and that maybe they were both spies. That's all speculation. It's never been confirmed, but that's what I think.
Because you can't confirm a spy.
Right. Because if you could, they'd... Well, I guess they're all dead, but they were a shitty spy. And this guy sounds like he was a good spy.
Yeah.
What's crazy, and maybe the best part of the story, and I don't know if you ever came across this, so Abbott, the investigator, went to interview Rachel, who is the Somerton Man's possible granddaughter, and the investigator and the granddaughter during this interview fall in love, they get married, they have 3 children.
I saw that.
It's sweet. Or he married her to get her DNA.
He was like, I'm going to get it one way or another.
Also, really want to know, how would you get Michelle's DNA if you had to?
I just wait for her to go get a haircut. She sheds everywhere.
Okay.
Why? What would you do?
I was thinking about it. I was like, what if I had to get some of Eric's DNA? I bet I could just pull some of his hairs and he probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, or Michelle leaves coffee mugs.
That's the easiest way, a drinking glass. I didn't even think of that. I was like, I'm going to have to pull his hair out.
I'm going to have to murder him maybe to get it. I don't know.
Like a finger? Do you need a finger or toe?
How much do you need?
So this family is definitely involved, is everybody's feeling.
So Abbott...
Yeah.
He dedicates decades to solving this mystery. And he partners with Colleen Fitzpatrick, who's a forensic genealogist.
Right.
So they work together to solve this confusion with science. So I told you this was going to make sense for Malpractice Podcast. Here's the sciencey part.
We're coming back around.
In 2021, the police responded to Abbott calling to exhume the body of the Somerton Man. But in the end, they didn't. And instead, it was strands of hair that were trapped in the plaster cast that actually gave Abbott the scientific fuel to solve the puzzle.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So police gave Abbott about 50 strands of hair, and he was like, I will find out who this man is. Meanwhile, everyone's like, you need to take a chill pill. And he's like, I will.
When I find this out.
Yeah. So he solves the mystery with genetic genealogy. Thanks, science. Using DNA sequencing, they were able to locate the final piece of the puzzle. So they took these like 50 strands of hair, used it for DNA sequencing, and with the help of our friend GEDmatch, which we talked about with Karen Binder from the DNA Doe Project, they were able to build a family tree of about 4,000 names.
Which is crazy.
From this man's hair.
That they can do that. That's crazy. It's so fascinating.
So Abbott said...
And we ended up building this family tree with 4,000 people on it. Imagine that, 4,000. It's like a Sudoku puzzle with 4,000 slots in it.
Abbott then went on to say, it's like one of these folklore mysteries that everybody wants to solve, and we did it. So, who was this guy? A Russian spy, a jilted lover of Joe, who we all agreed that that's exactly what he was, no matter who else he was. We don't know any of those answers for sure. But we do know is that he's been identified by Abbott and Fitzpatrick as Carl Charles Webb, who was an electrical engineer in Melbourne who seemed to have vanished from the public record after 1947.
Right.
The investigative DNA techniques they used confirmed there is a high likelihood that this is our guy, or at least his brother. But Carl is the only one with no record of death. So
it's like it has to be Carl.
Feels like him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like you, Carl.
It's Carl. The voice you're about to hear is Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick, and she's going to describe how they use genetic genealogy to track down the identity of the Somerton Man.
Well, we found out he was a Melbourne resident. His name was Carl Charles Webb. He was born in 1905, and the last we know about him is April 1947. He and his wife were not having a really easy time of it, and they separated, and after that, we don't know what happened to him. When you have genetic genealogy, you wind up having a list of DNA cousins who are related to Mr. X, and you have to figure out who they are, how they related to each other, and we were fortunate enough to get a young man who matched close enough that we could build his family tree. And we were looking for candidates that might be the Somerton Man, and we came across his great-great-grandfather was named Thomas Keene. And that was very exciting because the Somerton Man was found with several items with the name T. Keene stenciled on them. So at first I thought, well, maybe that's Somerton Man, we don't know. But it turned out, as it were, that T. Keene was married to the Somerton Man's sister. You know, the way the genealogy sorted itself out, that Thomas Keene was married to somebody named Frida Webb, and she was Carl Webb's sister. So Thomas Keene was his brother-in-law. You know, we just didn't use one cousin. When you do a test like this, you come up with a list of people who are related to you because they share DNA. And so we don't just base that on one cousin. We had a connection to Carl Webb's mother and Carl Webb's father's sides of the family. So it really has to be him. And in all of the relatives we looked at, he's the only one that didn't have a date of death. And that's what we use. We use distant relatives, we use their DNA, we found the connection, and that's how we proved who he was.
Yeah, when Webb came up as a person of interest in the research, Abbott and Fitzpatrick and their team of about 20 people went into deep research dive of public records for info about him because they're like, oh my God, is this the guy?
Right.
So the last record they found was when he and his wife got divorced in 1947 because she appeared in court saying that he had literally disappeared and she wanted a divorce. Another scandal in the story.
Full of them.
He had a brother-in-law named Thomas Keene who lived about 20 minutes away. So that would obviously explain the name in those clothes.
Like it has to be him, basically. So
it's like a 99.99%.
And in some of these articles, I feel like you'll see people say, oh, it's disappointing. It was just this guy who's like an engineer. And I'm like, let's not ignore the fact that this man was a spy. He had to be.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who was Carl Webb? He was born on November 16th, 1905. in Footscray in the Victoria or Melbourne area. He was the youngest of 6 siblings. Not much else is known about him besides being married to Dorothy Robertson, who was also known as Doff Webb for some time.
Until she got that divorce.
Yeah, until she cashed out. She was like, good day, mate. I'm sick of not hearing from your ass.
Yeah, literally.
Right. She waited like 3 years. That's long enough.
Yeah.
He apparently also enjoyed betting on horses, which some people speculate that the codes in the back of his book could be from that, like horse names. Like, what if he was writing out the order that horses finished in or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And that he liked poetry, so maybe he had this book for a reason. Who knows? The match is yet to be formally confirmed by South Australia's coroner or the police, but Professor Abbott says she is 99% confident that they have correctly identified the Somerton Man. And while this may solve the mystery of who the Somerton Man is, people still wonder how he died. Like, even if we know this information about who he is, we still don't know about the last year of his life.
Yeah.
And there are lots of people who want a toxicology report redone on the body to dig deeper and try to provide Carl's family some peace around his death. Fingers crossed they get that done, because that would be really interesting. The thing that I want to end on is, what do you think happened to him?
Oh, I don't know. I think he was a spy. I think he was...
You think so?
Yes. There's no reason why there's so little about you. That's spy shit.
Like, nobody even has dental records for you? Like, you went to the dentist.
Spy shit.
Right?
And I think he met Jo when she was...
In the army nursing? Yeah.
Yeah. And they had a thing.
Yeah.
She got pregnant, moved.
Got married real quick.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's bing, bang, bong. And then he was murdered for his spy shit. That's what I think.
I think that's entirely possible. I think for sure we know that Jo knew something.
Jo knows this man.
Robin has to be his son.
Yes.
Regardless of who he was, Robin is this man's son.
Yeah.
Because the odds are 20 million to 1. Like, that's your child. Pay child support.
Oh, what if he raped her?
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
And that's why she's like, I don't know him.
Maybe she killed him after he
Maybe she did kill him.
her. Oh, honestly? That'd be kind of a sick ending, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think what happened is they met in the military. I think he left his wife to go find her. Jo said no, and he either took his own life, or maybe he was like really persistent about it and she murdered him, allegedly.
And then maybe her husband was the man carrying him to the beach.
100%. Or alternatively, he was really into horse racing. What if he was like in debt with the wrong people?
Mm.
And they like took all of his stuff. That's why he didn't have a wallet. And the guys carrying him down to the beach were like teaching him a lesson. And then it went too far and he died. Why did that never come up again in the police investigation?
And they're Mickey Mouse police.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
Nope.
That was good. That was so fun.
Yeah, I like this episode.
Me too. So that's what we know about that. That's the Somerton Man.
Yeah, and this is all recent.
This is like summer 2022.
Yeah, so we will keep you updated if we hear any more. If you have recommendations of a topic that you want to hear, let us know. DM us.
Yeah.
On social media, Malpractice Podcast, or email us at malpracticepodcast@gmail.com.
Don't forget to rate and review us wherever you like to listen. We swear it helps, and we also read the reviews to each other and have a lot of fun doing that. So
do that.
Yeah, do it, please. And don't forget, malpractice makes perfect.
Bye.
Bye-bye.